Are you ready to read the most terrifying headline in medical history? The radium water worked fine until his jaw came off. This is not a metaphor. This is not an exaggeration. This X-ray you see belongs to Eben Byers, and the thing that tore his jaw off wasn't an accident. What reduced him to this state was this small, innocent-looking bottle, prescribed by his doctor to give him energy. Eben Byers drank exactly 1,400 bottles of pure radiation, thinking he was healing himself, and when he died, his bones were so hot they had to bury him in a lead-lined coffin. In the early 1900s, the world was captivated by a new element, radium. It glowed in the dark. It emitted heat. People believed this mysterious light was a gift from God. Radium was the magic wand of that era. The scientific world hadn't yet fully understood that radiation destroys cells. Opportunists filled this knowledge gap. The craze grew so big, it turned into a marketing monster. Pharmacy shelves were filled with deadly products. They sold radium toothpaste for whiter teeth, radium wool to keep babies warm. There were even radium condoms claiming to increase virility and radium cards to place under your mattress. The promise was always the same: energy, youth, and eternal health. You might be laughing at them right now. You might be thinking, how could people be so naive? But be honest with yourself. Are we really smarter than them? Today, when you see herbs that prevent cancer in a week, energy powders that make you fly, or miraculous detox waters on social media, whatever radium was in the 1920s, those products are today. The names change, the packaging changes, but the dangerous lie remains the same. People of that era didn't know that what they were drinking was killing them cell by cell, because the bottle said 100% natural and scientific. In this atmosphere of ignorance and lies, Eben Byers entered the stage. Eben was living the American dream. His father was a steel industry tycoon. Eben was wealthy, a Yale graduate, handsome, a ladies' man, and the country's best amateur golf champion. His life was perfect, until he fell from a bunk bed on a train in 1927 and injured his arm. This minor injury threatened his golf career. His doctor recommended a new patented medicine to relieve his pain, Radithor. The bottle claimed to be Perpetual Sunshine, but the man behind this bottle, William Bailey, was not a doctor. He was a conman who had been kicked out of Harvard and didn't even have a medical degree. Bailey dissolved radium in water, bottled it, and gave doctors a 17% commission, a kickback, for every prescription. It was the deadliest bribery scheme in medical history. Eben drank the first bottle, and strangely, it worked. He felt energetic. His pain subsided. But this wasn't healing. This was a deadly placebo effect caused by radiation numbing his nerves and putting his body into fight mode. Eben became addicted to this feeling. 1 bottle a day wasn't enough. He started drinking 3. He sent cases of it to his friends as gifts. He even fed it to his racehorses. He had become the voluntary ambassador of his own death. For 3 full years, he pumped pure radiation into his body. Radium has a terrifying biological feature. The body mistakes radium for calcium. So instead of expelling it as a foreign substance, the body thinks it's a bone builder and deposits it deep into the skeleton. Once radium enters the bone, it never leaves. It bombards the body from the inside out, like a machine gun. For Eben, the end began when the sunshine started to fade. First, unexplained headaches began. Then, weight loss. His skin turned gray. But the real horror happened one morning while brushing his teeth. His teeth, without any pain, fell out into his hand like puzzle pieces because their roots had melted away. When X-rays were finally taken, doctors were horrified. There were holes in Eben's skull. His lower jaw was almost gone. The bone tissue had completely disintegrated and detached from his body. He could no longer speak. He couldn't eat. he could only be fed liquids. The once handsome athlete had turned into a living ghost, a monster. When the Federal Trade Commission came to take Eben's testimony to investigate the conman William Bailey, the lawyer Robert Wynne described the scene in his report. When I saw him, nothing remained of his youth or wealth. The lower part of his head was wrapped in bandages because he had no jaw. His bones were so brittle they could break with a gentle touch. But his mind was crystal clear. He was watching his own decay, second by second, with full consciousness. Eben Byers died on March 31st, 1932. The autopsy showed his body contained 3 times the lethal dose of radiation. And what about the killer? What happened to the conman William Bailey? Was he tried for murder? No. His company was shut down, but he didn't go to prison. He continued to lie, saying, "My water only brings health." He died years later of bladder cancer, a rich man. Justice was not served in this world. Eben's death created a media storm. The headline, "The radium water worked fine until his jaw came off," shook the world. This event caused a radical change in drug laws in America and the world, leading to the empowerment of the FDA. If the medicine you buy today has a side effects list, or if unchecked miracle elixirs cannot be sold in pharmacies, we owe this to the suffering of Eben Byers. He became, unintentionally, a martyr for modern medicine. Eben's body still lies in Allegheny Cemetery in Pennsylvania today, but not in peace. In 1965, 30 years after his death, an MIT physicist named Robley Evans had Eben's grave opened to measure the long-term effects of radiation. He expected the radiation to have faded, but when the coffin was opened, Geiger counters started screaming. Eben's bones were still so radioactive that they were practically emitting their own light. 1,400 bottles of Radithor had turned him into an eternal energy source. His body was placed back into a lead-lined coffin, covered in concrete and sealed. History teaches us this. Science progresses, but human nature and the search for easy miracles do not change. Yesterday, it was radium. Today, it is another miracle. The next time you encounter a proven miracle cure, an energy elixir, or a secret formula, remember Eben Byers and his silent scream. True health is not found in bottled miracles. It is found in science, skepticism, and balance. But Eben wasn't the only victim. There were hundreds of factory girls forced to paint their lips with this deadly poison. Their story is even more terrifying, and we will cover it in the next video. Stay curious, but keep your skepticism alive.